Hello everyone, and welcome back to Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Last time we got the key for the wine cellar, where we can find ingredients for an acid to dissolve a fleshy thing blocking our progress through the game. And so now we're going to go into the wine cellar and actually collect the ingredients. So we use the key on the door, unlocks, puzzle solved, and we can go through. The desert dunes were like waves in a sluggish sea. While the caravan moved, the land appeared motionless, but in camp, the hills moved. Okay. So I don't want to waste any oil, so I'll put that lamp out. Oh, it's dark in here.
Where did the Baron go?
Who cares? He left us enough wine to last us a lifetime. Or at least until tomorrow.
Oh, that always creeps me out. And that door. Okay. Yeah, we are, we're starting to get into the, more worrisome part of the game. Oh, I hate this. Okay. But we've collected, cuprites, and now calamine. And we've been knocked unconscious by a barrel. Figures. Come on, get up, get up. Alright, so now let's look around this room briefly. We need to find a way out of here, but we also want to pick up anything of use like this tinder box. Is there something hidden behind these boxes? No. Ooh! Oil! This barrel contains oil, and my lantern's already full, so I can't fill it anymore, but we can come back here. And that seems to be everything. So now here's the door, the cave-in. Fortunately, we can just barely drag the stuff out of the way. That's a big boulder to be able to move. And come on, move out of the way. Then we can get out. Come on. Get out of the... This plank, this beam, the support beam, really does not want to move. There we go. I suppose moving it in real life would even be harder than that. You can click right mouse to give it an extra push. No, I can't, because it's the same button on my mouse. It just depends on where I click. So it's already been clicked. Can I change that? Key configuration. Where's the movement, actions, throw? Let's make it that. Okay. So now I think I can actually throw things. There we go. I should have done that a long time ago. I'm very glad this game allows you to redo the key bindings like that. And now, we can leave! Puzzle solved. Wonderful. Things are going great. Nothing could possibly go wrong at this point. Now, we've got a lot of doors we can search through. But where were we? We were... I know. Okay, so... So I extinguished my lantern because if it's on, it's easier for the monster to spot you wherever the monster comes up. And there are squishy things all over the floor. What's this?
What's happening? Oh, it feels like My chest is going to burst.
My God! Wilhelm, do something!
Accept it. We're not getting out of here.
How can you say that? Alexander, you piece of let us out of here!
Okay, so apparently the guys who were left with enough wine for a lifetime and were having fun down here had a very short lifetime. So in a way they were right. Wilhelm's last word. My name is Wilhelm, House of Gerach. These are my final words, my confession and testament. 2 years ago I was summoned to the Castle Brennenburg. As most of the aristocracy, I was curious about what this supposed Knight of the Order could want from me, and accepted his invitation. The Baron was friendly, and offered me a proposition. It dawned on me that the nature of the contract was sordid, and that the reason I was chosen was because of the follies of my past, and not the honors I had been awarded with during my time as a soldier. I was to kidnap healthy humans, and upon his slightest whim, do so without asking questions. In return, he would attest my character at the royal court, advancing my position within noble society. I would like to claim that I struggled with my decision, but it came swiftly, and I accepted wholeheartedly. Ever since that day, I have brought men, women, and children to Brennenburg. I can't remember the numbers, but there were many, perhaps even 100, none of whom were ever seen or heard from again. Tonight, the Baron invited me and my men down to the wine cellar to celebrate our work. I had my suspicions as we descended the stairs, but he insisted and joined us in a toast. The wine tasted fine, and my men drank without restraint. So begins the punishment for our sins. The Baron has locked us up, and returned upstairs. Forgive me what I have done. I was weak, and fell into his diabolic ways. My men are screaming. Their skin has been pierced by their own tangled bones. I feel my insides revolt against their God-given nature. Blood has begun to pour from my eyes, and I can no longer. Yeah, so these guys did not meet with pleasant fate down here. This is this squishy stuff on the floor is obviously what's left of them. Is that a brain? That might be a brain. Can I pick up a brain? No, I can only make a squelchy noise with it, which is disgusting. Okay, so now we have cuprite, calamine, and aqua regia. Or well, cuprite, calamine, mine. That's actually interesting. How to pronounce that? Anyway, moving forward. Now we get in here. I'm going to turn off the light. Whenever the hint's warning you about an enemy, that's a bad sign that an enemy's about to be there. Oh, there he is. Avoid looking for too long. It will drain your sanity and you will eventually be seen. Alright, so look away. Away. Kind of walk towards that way. We do need to go down this direction. There's one more ingredient we need for the acid, and it's going to be somewhere down here. I think we can turn on the light, but we need to be careful watching for the monster. Look for any tinder boxes, look for anything of use, standard fare for this game. Can just find that one ingredient, we can just get out of here as fast as possible. And there it is.
That fragrance. The master's rose.
is that? Oh, that's some dust. That was a strange visual effect. So now, run upstairs, out of the wine cellar. We have what we came for. We can now go to the lab and start mixing up some chemicals. He sat down by the Casbah wall, gasping for air. Sweat poured from his forehead and to his brow, I think. Didn't see that at the time. But now there's even more squelchy stuff, fleshy substance appearing. After enduring 3 days in Algiers, a sailboat was finally arranged to take him across the Mediterranean Sea to Gibraltar. Having reached British territory, it was just a matter of reserving a cabin on the SS Hortensia, headed for London. Okay, maybe that's Daniel on his return trip from that place, the tomb of Tin Hanan mentioned in the other note. I think that was last episode. Oh, I missed some oil down here when I was here before. So that's good to pick up. So now we can start mixing. So first we'll put down a chemistry pot to contain the mixture. And then we need to place in the chemicals into their proper bottles. And if we take a look out here at what happened, we can see that the stairs collapsed. Great. So we'll have to find a way to climb back up. But in the meanwhile, we can at least do what we came to do and make the acid. So I think it's just a matter... Oh, turn the burners on. First, which is this style here. I think it's just a matter of opening up these valves to allow the chemicals to flow. And we have acid. So now we can make progress if we can just get out of the basement. So, fortunately, there are these wooden planks around here, which we can place and use to climb on. And we're up! Alright. So back to the entrance hall. It became impossible to avoid. The commotion in the streets begged for his attention. As he opened the shutters, the French soldiers opened fire on the two young men fighting back. Their voices were silenced in a haze of gun smoke. Okay, enough with the fleshy substance. I get it. It's all over the place, and it's gonna hurt me. Alright. So now, we came through here before, when that flashback was playing, with Alexander telling us we need to go to the inner sanctum. But before, we couldn't get through this wall because it's tough and pliant and can't be thrown by hand or tools. But now, we get to solve it with acid. And thus, make our way to the refinery. The cloth smelled of desert and damp musk. The pieces lay scrambled on top. Too many of them, he thought. Or perhaps too few.
It sure is dark in here.
Yes, and there's a good reason for it. But you can light the lamp now if you wish.
What's the reason? For the darkness, that is.
Stay close. Be careful not to stray.
What's the reason? Why is it so dark?
Pay attention, Daniel. It's important that you keep going straight and make sure not to stray.
And preferably not run into a pillar like I just did. So again, when it warns you about enemies in the hints, that's usually a bad sign. If we look closely, we can see just ahead that we are not alone. Oh my gosh, it is right there. It's still there. I thought it was supposed to go away by now. That worries me, actually, because I was pretty sure that the monster would be gone by the time we got up there. Maybe I don't know how this worked quite as well as I thought I did. As I'm pretty sure the
Anyone there?
I'm pretty sure the monster's gone now. Well, I think the monster's gone now. Okay. So now, where do we go? As always, we can just kind of explore for some items as we figure out where we're gonna go. And try and avoid doors that do that. Sanity's dangerously low. Stay in the light and try to make progress. Great. I'm a little bit injured too.
22nd of June, 1839. It's been more than a month since my last entry. After the event inside the underground chamber in Algeria, Professor Herbert insisted I return to England. He said he didn't want to risk forfeiting the entire expedition lest I took a turn for the worse. An excessive decision, in retrospect. But I'm glad it turned out that way. I found my journal this morning in the haphazard collection of things brought home from Africa. Next to it lay the broken stone orb wrapped in cloth. I tried to assemble it, but couldn't. The pieces wouldn't fit together, as if they weren't from the same object. Could I have imagined it all? Was there ever a complete orb?
Okay. So now I'm actually gonna use a tinderbox here, so that I don't have to keep my lantern on too much. Oh, there's another torch, and I'll continue to search for supplies. Anything in those shelves? Nope. Where's this go? I'm terrified that there's going to be a jump scare at any moment. The monster's just going to come screaming out of nowhere. Oh! Oh! Okay, I forgot about that. I knew about what's that? Why is it still ringing? What's going on? Oh! Oh! I think that the ringing and all that was because my sanity was low. I knew about the door, but that secondary explosion I had forgotten about.
25th of June, 1839. I feel the need to continue this journal, even though it was intended for my journey to Africa. This must be something very important. I just know it. I've taken it upon myself to piece the orb back together, but it's been more difficult than one might think. The pieces are behaving strangely. They seem to change color, shape, and texture, but ever so slightly. Yesterday, I took careful measurements and notated any significant markings. Today, I confirmed my suspicions. They were changing. I was terrified and rushed off to see the finest geologist in London, Sir William Smith. I approached the subject with care, and we discussed how rocks change form. He told me about the nature of glass, how it eventually collapses on itself, like ice slowly melting over the course of centuries. Smith eased my mind a bit, but I can't escape the feeling that these shards have otherworldly properties.
Okay. So now we've explored all the rooms in this little area. Here's the door the monster was standing by. These body parts. This is the door in the room where we just found that note. So everything's kind of blocked off, and there is only this door to go through, but it's blocked from the other side. And so now we need to find another way in. So we'll do that later. But for now, I have to end the episode because we are out of time. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.